Okay. Okay. I think we're good. Yeah. Good evening, and I apologize. Yeah, we are back with another kind of sponsored Squirrels at War episode. Um, mostly because apparently my friends have had so much fun last time that they decided that they're going to try it again, and they're going to try even harder to distract me while I'm talking about such in-depth issues as squirrel logistics and squirrel abilities, etc., etc. Okay, let's get to it. So yeah, this didn't start off right. Anyway, let's get to it anyway. So actually, before all of this, I have a bone to pick with you lot. Sorry, I am now talking to the Discord group, the private Discord group. I only just realized, because I accidentally clicked on one of my own videos yesterday, how terrible I sounded. Why didn't you guys tell me? You know very well that's not how I usually sound. Know very well that's not how I usually sound. I'm genuinely upset. Regardless, here we go. Now, what are we doing today? Oh yes, that's right. We are doing the third part of September 13th of the year 2599, the year of our squirrel, 2599. And what we're actually looking at here is the ability. So the day before, the 51st Corps launched its own attack against sort of the northern front, and obviously that's going to have repercussions, especially on the 9th Division, because the 21st is now so locked into its own combat that the squirrels that are sitting in this Gherkin Mountain, will be in danger of being liberated. And yeah, no, it I was just asked if this was the Pleasure 8 tower, and yes, indeed it is. That is indeed it. It's the giant pickle that sits in the middle of London, and it's great. I love that it's right there, because it even sticks out when you look at it in the map. It's genuinely kind of cute. Anyway, so now we're actually going to talk about the response that the technocracy has had, and in particular we're going to talk about actually the 52nd Division also coming into essentially moving over to an attack. But before all of that, I wanted to see if I have more. I do have more division counters. Perfect. We're going to bring one more of these bad boys in. Essentially, that's what number should we bring? Give me a number. No. Can you guys just give me a regular number? Come on. Screw it, 31st. I'm not waiting for you guys. While you lot were in the channel memeing, everyone else that's listening, and yes, I understand that there's actually no one else listening. While you guys were memeing in the channel, everyone else that was listening was busy trying to hear about what was happening to these squirrels. So yeah, no, I'm not waiting for you guys, not anymore. Anyway, so having said that, the 31st Division arrives in the theater and moves directly into attack. Actually, let's put them here, because they just detrained at Fenchurch Street, right? So they just detrained here, and they're on their way to this end. And so by now it has become obvious. You know, there was a regiment, a reinforced regiment here that was trying to make it seem like there was a lot of making a lot of noise, military deception. But by now it's become obvious that that's no longer the case. So actually, it might not even be not obvious that it's no longer the case now that I think about it. In fact, what might be the case is that let me just put the 16th in the right place. There we go. Is that because the 6th is bogged down in a Four Seasons hotel, it the newly arrived 31st and our boy General Lloyd George, I believe it was Lloyd George. Give me just one quick second. Yeah, Lloyd George. Our boy Lloyd George essentially has said, you know what, it's better to flank the 15th, and so the 31st, as it detrains and sort of gets ready to move, it moves down into this direction, where it will of course come right into contact, advance, to the we should call it a weakened 16th division, because not only is the 752nd regiment, reinforced regiment, taken out of it, but also, is my voice still working? Are you guys actually still hearing me? Okay, for future reference, this was because they decided to pretend they couldn't hear me, and pretend I was dead for whatever reason. That's okay. You can pretend I'm dead. I don't want to talk to you guys either. Anyway, so the 16th is a weakened division. Is not a weakened division. It's a reduced division, because the 362nd is sort of now holding the Great Tower Bridge, because why not, right? It's another area for reinforcement, and so really the purpose of the 16th is to advance until about the rail lines, or advance until contact, and then sort of withdraw to a location that's favorable, defensively favorable. And in this case, actually Trinity Place right here, right, is actually fairly defensible, and has and obviously Trinity Square Garden and Tower Hill and all of that have excellent are excellent supply points for the Squirrels, because of all the, shall we call them, giants that travel in this area. And it's bordered on the eastern side by the lovely big valleys that are very, very difficult to cross. So the 16th is obviously advancing into contact. The 31st is advancing and trying to outflank the 15th. And while all of this is happening, because the 51st went over to the attack, the 52nd will also go over to the attack, and we shall see how that goes. Let's see. So I do have the numbers. The 19th. So Cornhill Valley is quite a big valley. If you've ever been there, it's also not the easiest to cross for someone of squirrel size. So that's not going to happen. So essentially, the at least the attack orders for the 52nd are fairly simple. As the, I should have that. One quick second. Has it really been 9 minutes? Oh my god, we have barely started. As the 9th essentially pulls back towards the west, to, oops, don't want to move that, as the 9th pulls back towards the west, essentially to covers its own rear, but also to cover the encirclement of the forward elements of the collective 9th. That gives the collective 9th some additional maneuvering room that it can use to also attack along Cornhill Valley. And in this case, it must be, yeah, there must be some support for it from this end. So we're just gonna add another little arrow over here. And that's not to say, you know, that's not to say that there's no formations here. It's just that we haven't, how do we say, we haven't put the counters for them. Now, normally, you know, the 9th itself, oops, is a division with basically 3 brigade or 2 brigade and 1 regiment level formations. And in this case, you know, if we had them, they would be laid out sort of here, 1, perhaps 2, or 2 around here, and then 3 on this end to link on its left side with the rightmost regiment of the 21st. How does this make me a nerd? How does this make me a nerd? I don't get it. No, this is cool stuff. This is dad level stuff. But since I don't particularly care what goes, no, let me rephrase that. Since it's my channel and I'm the one doing it, I'm sorry, I don't care what you guys think. No, you can't sponsor other stuff. No. I maintain creative control over my own channel. Thank you very much. That is how these things work, alright, bro? Anyway, so once we have this in place, just so it's less ugly. Yeah. Essentially what this amounts to be is a full attack on this northern sector that is to the north of course, Cornhill, right? Like the way these formations are positioned, they really were just at the end, shall we say, Clausewitz has this very nice concept called the culmination point, where a campaign has essentially fought itself to the maximum, and then both sides are exhausted and just kind of like stop, right? So in this case, what happened before, actually you can, whoever's interested can read what happened before. You know very well where that stuff is. I'm not even gonna explain it to you guys. Oh, I might have had too much noise. I'm sorry. I'll listen to this video later. I hope. Anyway. The point is really, yeah, it's the collective has sort of decided to go over onto the attack all across the north, while there are fairly static positions in the south. Didn't I answer this question? I feel like I answered this question, but I don't remember. But that is a good question. Why is there nothing going on down here? And the reason is, this is a very difficult road to cross. Squirrels can't make it, man. Like with the moment the defender's advantage on this particular path is just enormous. So you can't. Just can't. You can't. Right. Oh yeah, we should probably do something about the 5th, which has now shrunk a little bit. Let's add some. Yeah, that looks good. So their the 5th Division has suffered some major setbacks in its attempts to keep itself alive. And in fact, even a single brigade now is probably outfighting it. Let's pull this one down. Yeah, that looks about right. Oops. Okay, we're good. Let me just to show how cool our squirrels are. They're very cool, by the way. Very cool. Okay. So the 5th has now sort of been reduced even further, and there's really no real big hope at relieving it in the near future. Oh wow, okay, we're yeah, we can talk a little bit more. Let me just finish this. So just to go over left, right, I think I've taken care of all the collective stuff. There's no more. No, we'll leave this arrow here for reinforcements. We'll leave this arrow here for reinforcements. Perhaps we'll take one over on this side to show that there are going to be reinforcing formations. No, not necessary. But we are going to change. We are going to change this to 100 because there are going to be reinforcing formations coming up. We're also going to add one over here because apparently the technocracy still has some amount of what? Huh. Okay. Yeah, don't. I'm good. It turns out I have a meeting in 5 minutes. 9 minutes. It's okay. We'll wrap this up in 2 minutes and then I'll go prepare for that. No problem. Yeah, so we next quote unquote turn we'll have technocratic sort of support appear in the system. But we also will have some collective reinforcements soon. And so yeah, normally this would be, if we go back to the sort of the very southwestern point, normally this would be something that's not fought over because there's simply no point, defender's advantage and all. But if you have overwhelming superiority, that changes your calculus, right? Because suddenly an entire division against some security formations, that's just unreasonable. So like while your front is very heavily tied together, that might be a rather difficult how should we say adventure. Actually, let me just do this real quick because no, I wanted to come to this side. You're coming to this side. Yeah. Oh, no. So just to reinforce the point, there is still a formation here. One of the brigades that is attached to the 9th Division, I assume, and it is now being attacked from both its own left wing and also blah. And so the 9th is under some considerable pressure. And if let's do that as well. And if it doesn't get if it doesn't get reinforcements soon, then it might very well be in danger. Let's that's not what I meant to do. Let's let's move this over here. We'll move this here, and we'll move this sort of more like this. So yeah, the 9th is, the 9th itself is getting, instead we'll turn this to show a new focus for the 5th guard. So yeah, like instead of being the one that's surrounding here, the 9th itself might actually end up being surrounded, and that would be a tough loss for the technocracy, which prides itself really on being very shall we say flexible in its military operations. And yes, I know I'm over time, but we're okay, we're done. I think yeah, we're done. Let's and yes, I know I ignored you guys again. Essentially, you're right, I am taking your money and I'm not actually giving you what you paid for. But given that what you actually paid for was the lot of you spent money to sponsor a Squirrels at Warcast, and given that I actually did finish a Squirrels at Warcast, I don't think you are in any position to complain. So tough luck. For those readers, for those viewers who don't know, yeah, these I know these guys in real life, so they they tend to give me a hard time. All right, and that's it for tonight. Thank you very much for watching, and in conclusion, please download Firefox, please don't use Chrome, even use Safari for all I care. Please don't use Edge. It's yucky. Chrome itself is bloated, fractal nightmare. Oh yes, I wanted to talk about, oh my god, remind me next time. We're gonna talk about Chrome's monopoly play by restricting other people's tracking cookies, but it won't restrict Google, obviously, because it's, yeah, anyway. So don't use Chrome, don't use Edge. Firefox it is. Have a good night.